Because like I said, if you're already established and you already got your things going on, you wouldn't rely on no woman to help you make your business better, help you make your life better. You're living your life by yourself. You're good. You know what to deal with. You can handle the family. You know what your finances are like. So you don't, that's not no longer a prerequisite.
If you're trying to move forward, you can't really go pick something up that's going to kind of hold you back and be a liability. You might need something that's your age or even a little bit older to show you the way so you can get to that point.
Now that you're saying at the age of 40 for a male, that he's looking at, he's like, man, having kids, having a marriage. This is what I was telling my brother before. I was like, by the time you're 40, you're like, man, I'm not trying to have kids. I'm like, you never had a kid at 40 or like 41, 42. You're kind of like, man, if I never had a family at this point. I don't know if you heard the news about Doncic going to Lakers.
Yeah.
You heard about that. How do you feel about him going to Lakers and Anthony Davis going to Dallas?
I don't think they're going to win with him right now. LeBron's already going down. LeBron has his son on the team. That team's not going anywhere. Dallas obviously not going nowhere. You're trading their biggest star.
Yeah. See, I'm kind of like, I think that's the best deal they can get. In terms of Anthony Davis, who else could they have traded? I couldn't imagine a better trade for Anthony Davis. Like, if you think about the league, who else would give up their player? Because mind you, Anthony Davis is now coming to 32 or 32, if I'm not mistaken. So he's on his way out. So now I'm thinking to myself, well, who wants a old player that's injury prone? And if
might as well trade it for Jimmy Buckets.
Oh, Jimmy, that could be.
Jimmy's
older too. He's another
they're both
older.
old niggas. That's what I'm
But
saying.
look, you were talking about
Get more production.
Doncic is only 25. He's still not even at his prime. He still has a lot of years to come. He just came off of finals, for crying out loud. And speaking of,
but that's probably for me. Like, I think there's scandal come through that, like 100%, because the kid's just too nice to give up. They're even saying, like, think about Luka Doncic.
Yeah,
he's pretty much a player that's like an untradeable player. I'll be honest. Him, Jokic, maybe Giannis, SGA probably. Like at this point, these are like untradeable players. But the one person they would trade are Victor Wembanyama just off of potential. But the only guys that those guys would be traded for is a Luka Doncic. So like, no matter what, if you're Dallas, you got a bad deal. No matter which way you look at it, if you're just looking generational talent, have you seen a better player than Luka? I haven't.
No, I haven't.
Not generational talent.
He's gotten a lot of coverage, and so it's interesting that he would be traded. But I think there's a lot of behind the scenes activities going on.
GM.
A lot of activities going on.
But I like it because I fuck with the Lakers. I'm a Lakers fan through and through. I know this is gonna make my Lakers relevant, so I'm good with the trade as long as the Lakers are relevant. You know, they're gonna be relevant. Get some new players around him. He'll be in the finals again with the Lakers.
Oh no, for sure. And also the fact that right now they're currently sitting around in 5th place, and they're only like 1 game away to getting into like 4th. And I'm pretty sure that they can do a little better in terms of standings.
Super Bowl time, brother. I haven't even thinking about ball. It's Super Bowl time.
But
I also don't watch ball.
We don't
like
watch
that,
ball
right?
like that. Just a big
TikTok,
crazy.
you see like
all I see is Jimmy Buckets and his old lady. His old lady trying to get more money.
More money.
Trying to
but
put the 10 grand
that's what happens to these guys, right? I mean, at the end of the day, they marry. You know, or they don't marry. They have kids. They have kids with multiple women, lots of baby mamas, and then they have to deal with the
aftermath.
The aftermath of paying their bills.
I don't know how much youth he has. He might just have that one. He might just have a couple kids, 3 kids with that one gal.
I'm not saying that it's more than one woman. What I'm saying is it's this typical situation when it comes to
any
athletes.
nigga with money,
yeah. Well, athletes specifically is not everybody, because other people are more like financially literate.
All niggas with money.
Huh?
All the young niggas with money.
Yes, exactly. If you get it a certain way, especially if you're like a professional athlete, you never have to work that hard to attain that type of money. Yeah. You could be 19 and be a millionaire. You get what I mean?
So just the access, brother. It's all the access.
It is the
access. It is the access.
Access is the number one problem.
Access is the number one problem. But at the end of the day, people know about that you have this money, right? Like your contracts are public. So it's not like people don't know you're making money. They can just check and see, okay, you're making $4 million per year. Boom. You can be the 15th man in the rotation. It doesn't make no difference to them. And especially in the NBA, like that's where the most predators are going to come. So if you have something to lose, that's going to be the place you're going to lose
everywhere, brother. Rapping, actors, comedians.
But how about regular life? Do you think that applies to regular life, everyday people?
I think most girls don't want to work after a certain time. So the older they get, the more they're like, I'm just going to, whatever nigga I could get here that could take care of this, I'm going with him.
So women are more likely to settle with like the average guys.
What age are you talking about?
I think once you pass like 30, even though the guy them are still nice, a lot of girls look really nice though. After 30, you had that whole 20s of getting washed away, being like, I think I fucked up, wanting too much shit, you know? Then
true.
you get to a point where you're like, now I just need a nigga who will take care of this stuff for me and make it easier for me.
So you think that they still won't have expectations? You think that as they get older and they're with somebody,
more realistic and less.
You think so?
You think so?
Yeah, for sure.
From women that you've spoken to and women that you know that are probably like 35-ish, a little older than 35.
Obviously, they just want to have those. Some of those girls are like, either they want somebody to take care of them,
or
they're like, I'm done with men. Like, all I'm doing now is just.
So there's no expectations other than I need you to take care of me.
Be good to me, make me happy, and maybe pay a bill. You know,
I wish it was that easy. For the women that I know, I can't say it's been that easy for like.
Oh, they still want a lot?
Of
you
course.
Absolutely want a lot.
Well,
your expectations don't change. It's just like
I think it increases. The expectations
you don't like older
increase.
ladies. What kind of girl do you like?
Oh no, I don't go
Youngers.
after that type, but I have a lot of homegirls that fall into that category.
Yeah,
so,
what kind of homegirls?
I
Virgin
have
homegirls and this and that.
I got homegirls, man. They tell me what's up. They tell me what's up.
Well, what he's trying to say is that, you know, maybe if you're talking about somebody that's already been established with someone for like a couple years and stuff like that, yeah, they might just be like, let me sit cozy. Guy's taking care of me. He's paying his 1-2 bills, whatever. I'm going to deal with that because that's what I chose. I already wasted this much years. I'm this age. Yes, those type of women are more likely to be like, yeah, let me just sit in this situation. But women that are, say, single at that point, they're still going to have that same expectation that they had in their early 20s. Because, well, hold on a second.
They can have them, but they're not so pressed on them.
But at the end of the day, that's opinionated, right? Some women will tell you, whether they're lying or not, I can't confirm it or not, but they can tell you that they have more opportunities as at whatever advanced age they are, if they're older, than they were when they're younger. Some girls think that they're in a better position as they get older.
Well, they're not going to say they're not.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Why would they shoot themselves in the foot and say they're not?
Yeah, but we can't prove that's otherwise either.
Of course we can prove that.
How can we prove that?
Genetically, it says earlier is better than
if
later.
we're going based off biology, then
but you can't go off biology because some girls do look better at 27 than they looked at 21. It just depends.
No,
on
but
the
again,
woman.
that's externally. Like we're talking, if they're talking about the internal self.
No, but internal self, yes. If men are thinking, if say I'm getting with a woman and I want to, you know, make sure she's fertile and she's going to, you know, produce kids for me at a specific point.
Yes.
Obviously, I'm going to aim for younger, just based on science. I'm just going to aim for younger based on science. Now, a woman that's, say, older or in that area of, say, geriatric pregnancy, when you're like 35 plus, say you lost majority of your eggs and stuff like that, of that nature. Yes, that woman, in her head, she's still saying to herself, well, I've already seen women that are 44 have kids, that are 50 have kids. People know of this.
Yes.
Whether it's a small percentage or not, that's what people know of. Just like someone can say, oh, I'm 40 now, but most people don't hit their wealth till they're 60. So I'm good. I'm in a good position.
They're rolling their dice still.
Yeah, they're rolling their dice near the end of it.
It's not the best.
It's not the best odds. It's not the best odds, but they will roll with the shit odds. That's what I'm saying. Like they will roll with the shit odds because at the end of the day, it's not like they're gonna concede and be like, oh shit, they were right. They were saying the right shit back in the day. No one's gonna say that. So they're just gonna concede and be like,
I don't know.
I can actually argue that a woman that's in her maybe late 30s or even maybe early 30s would have more expectation than a woman in her early 20s or even mid 20s.
How?
Because they're still having fun in their early 20s.
The younger hasn't lived any life. She doesn't know what to expect.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Have
less expectations.
Older girl is gonna expect more, but she's gonna be more realistic. I think she's already gone
more,
through.
But be more realistic.
Because
she's been to the experience is what's gonna mess her up. She's gonna be like, I wanted this the whole time. I tried to get this, it didn't work. Like obviously, most of them are crazy, but at a certain point, when they get older, they get less and less crazy. They're like, if I keep being like this, I'm gonna end up with nothing.
And that's what the game they're playing. It's an all or nothing game. That's what you're not realizing. With a lot of women and mentalities from certain people I'm hearing, the ages are just going up and up and up. Like, I mean, it's not like their scenario's changing, just the age is changing for them. And they're saying, well, I'm not going to settle. I'm not going to settle. So it is an all or nothing game they're playing. Like, I think what men are what we're getting it confused, where men are getting it confused. And I think it's the same thing that applies to men. Like, if you don't marry by a certain age, or you're not with a long-term partner by a certain age, most likely you're going to abandon that option, right?
The idea
the idea of it. So even if a woman gets beyond the age of her, like, being able to have kids, or men being that interested in her because of that fact of age and whatever that comes with, that's just the reality they're going to roll with. You know, I think that's the difference with this generation. I think the importance of being with somebody or having a family, that's just not there. Like, I think people are believing to themselves that, like, I can make it on my own if I need to. If I don't find what I like, I'm going to try and hustle and do it on my own. Go travel. Bro, I see all these girls that are grown, past 30, damn near 40. They're enjoying their life like they're in their 20s, but they're single. You see what I mean? So why would a man change their lifestyle? They're 40s enjoying themselves. Like, what's a man going to do for them now? They're already at a grown age enjoying themselves without a man.
When they go to that bed and it's cold at night, brother, you know what I mean? They
But
just
then-
be
but for a man-
and they be scrolling and looking.
But you know, for a
but that's
woman, they can
scrolling.
find someone to bed with if that's the case.
Yeah, but the Gallum are wired different. You can't say the Gallum are wired the same as us. Just to fuck something doesn't make you feel what they want to feel.
But what I think what my brother's trying to say is, if you're at that age, and even if you become more realistic, now the man that's at that age is like, well, I'm also more realistic. Why would I now compare bond with you, where I've already lived up to this point in my life, and if I don't have a girl at this point, I'm not thinking to have a family. So why would I get into a long-term relationship and get married to someone that is the same age as me when now I want to enjoy my life? That's his realization of the world, where it's like, I don't know how that would make sense.
He wouldn't want to go after a chick like that.
He would, if anything, he wants a woman that would be a lot younger.
So he can do
That's
those experiences.
his realization. Why would I deal with someone that's close to my age group when I could get someone younger, because I got the resources to get somebody that's a lot younger that doesn't have those type of expectations on me?
I guess it depends how greasy you are still, right?
Yeah, that also depends on the
younger. You
individual,
got to
yeah.
do a lot of work, fam. You get a nice, prominent woman, you'll be much better off.
But if they're prominent,
It depends.
it depends on how they became prominent. Now, if they had to be a boss babe, right? That means that comes with certain characteristic traits. That means she's going to be a lot more aggressive in the sense of how she commands the room, how she got her business deals. Those are masculine traits. Like, you can't be feminine and get yourself to the highest peak without having to change. Like, even for a guy, to get to the highest peak, he has to change his characteristic traits. He has to become more masculine.
Yeah,
he has to become more
alpha,
aggressive.
more
He
of
has
a leader.
More of a leader. He has to take the initiative. That comes with traits. You know what I mean? She's prominent, yes, but that also comes with traits. To become prominent, you got to change as a person. Just like a person that works out and a person that doesn't work out. His characteristic traits are going to be quite different from the guy that doesn't work out. He's going to have more bravado. He's going to have more confidence. He's going to be more masculine. He's going to do stuff and behave different in a room, in a setting, compared to the guy that doesn't hit the gym. That guy's going to be out on the beach. He doesn't want to take his shirt off. He's so insecure, like, you know what, man, I'm good, bro. You know what? He's the one, he's going to be the same guy standing there. But he's going to go to the guy that works out and he's going to say to him, hey, brother, what size is that shirt? That looks pretty tight on you. You know, what is that, size me? I was like, nah, dude, like, it's an extra large. It's just that I fit in it properly. You know what I'm saying?
Some of those guys go up.
Right,
Some of those
that's
guys,
bro.
bad body and all go up, fam.
Yeah.
Some of them on there, those guys, some of those guys, they know they have nothing to lose, brother. They just go, they shoot.
Of course.
Some of those guys have a lot of confidence. They see some of the
No,
homies
but
they
again,
go,
that has nothing to do.
"Damn."
Like, looks for women on a woman's point of view is different than on a guy's point of
Yes.
view. Like how we determine looks, like how important those things are, right? So for a guy, it's the most important. For a woman, it can land in the third position, fourth position.
I was just
Yeah,
giving
that's
an
I think when
example.
you get older.
Especially as you get older, yeah.
Yeah.
If a woman gets older, yes, it's gonna drop down in terms of what she thinks she can get as well. Like she's gonna be realistic too.
That's
like
what
I'm
I
not
was
gonna
saying,
get, I'm not gonna get the
that's what I
check.
was saying.
Well, they're realistic to those degrees, yes. Like they know, okay, I'm whatever 40. I'm not gonna pull the young stud. Like they know that, but they don't.
They
not,
still dream about
but
it.
they still have that fantasy of it. Obviously, you can have a fantasy. It is what it is. But what I'm trying to say,
they'll even entertain it if the Chad is approaching them.
Yeah,
so
if that Chad approaches them, they'll entertain them.
And he's showing like, he's interested, even if he's not really interested. If he's sleeping with her, she's like, okay, I can maybe pull this Chad. This might be my last chance to pull a Chad. So I'm going to try and do things correctly to hold him down, but that may not be enough to hold him down.
Mm-hmm. And then I just look at like self-awareness when it comes to this, all this shit. Whether it's a guy getting older and trying to get into a relationship, or a woman being older trying to get in a relationship with somebody, like there has to be a level of self-awareness, right? Like regardless, if you're a guy, say for example, and you're a regular guy, you just work a regular job and stuff like that, I wouldn't permit you, like say you're in your 40s, I wouldn't permit for you to go down to chase 22-year-olds in that situation. Reason why I wouldn't say that is because it's going to be frowned upon according to maybe what it is you're doing in life, your social circles, experience, et cetera, et cetera. But look, let's just face the facts. If you're a baller and you go after a 22-year-old, no matter what your age would be, people wouldn't criticize that the same. That wouldn't be seen the same because they're going to be, well, you have resources. You actually could provide for this woman. It doesn't seem even perverted in that sense because at the end of the day, you're a person that's capable of getting a woman that young, that all she needs to worry about is creating a family and taking care of that family. She doesn't need to worry about nothing else. And it's a fair deal in that sense. Her youth for your money, for example, right? But in some scenarios, like say, for example, a woman, again, say she's older and she's been working a hard job, say for example, she's like a CEO or something big like that. Now her expectations can be like, oh, it's permitted for me to go after like a young guy because I'm doing good. I should be able to get my pick of the litter. Usually when you're doing good in life, you're supposed to get the pick of the litter, right? You're supposed to get first pick or whatever. You're supposed to get the best pick.
That's what the deal is.
But the difference is with women, it doesn't work the same because if an older woman goes after a younger guy, the younger guy doesn't really see the value in the older woman unless it's a financial value. But men are not going to be sugar babies the way women are going to be sugar babies. So that dynamic won't even work.
Not
so
at the same rate for sure.
Definitely not. So the woman is going to say to herself, well, okay, yes, he's a young stud, but if she's smart enough to be a CEO, she'd be smart enough to know the relationship isn't going to work either. You see what I'm saying? But that's what you said about.
They fall for the love, bro.
You say that for a short period of time, bro. If they're high level women, I'm telling you,
papers that way. You know what I mean?
Yes, they can even get a kid by you. I'm not saying that they can't make mistakes.
From the shows kissing them old white ladies, fam.
I'm not saying that these women can't be used. They can be used, but see, them getting used explains the scenario. That just tells you that
just like an older nigga with a young girl.
Yeah, you can get used in both scenarios. But you shouldn't be surprised. You shouldn't be surprised. But the guy is not surprised on that. You shouldn't be surprised either way. And what I'm trying to say
is, girls ever not surprised though? They're always surprised. Catch you living a double life, they're surprised. They catch you in a lie.
I don't think they're surprised. I think they act surprised. There's a big difference.
That's what I'm saying.
Acting surprised and being surprised are two different things. I think women understand that men cheat, men do this, men do that. But I think women understand that men cheat when it comes to relationships, when it comes to whatever the case may be.
That's what you think?
I think women understand that men do this. Men are programmed to not be monogamous. I think women truly understand this, but they fight against their urge to believe that when it comes to their specific guy, because how that guy behaves towards them. But I think generally speaking, women have a distrust towards men. I don't think women go around and think, oh, I can trust that guy, I can trust this guy, I can trust that guy, even if they're dealing with them. Yeah. I don't think they just give you full trust.
For sure they do.
Huh?
The lie they're telling me, for sure they do. The God upset they give you trust until you break it. You know the ones?
Yeah, do you believe that? Is that what you believe?
I think they'll give you that trust if they haven't had many relationships in the past.
There you go.
If
less experience.
Experience is when you're gonna get that. If they have a lot of
But does that mean younger or just a girl who's been in a lot of relationships?
No, I'm just talking about a woman that's been in a lot of relationships.
Long-term relationships, yeah.
Yeah, no, so So yeah, it can't be based off age in that sense, but usually I would say people that have accumulated a lot of relationships would be the older you are. That's most
likeliness, of
course.
Depends if they're just short or they're long-term relationship.
Unless
shorty been
short
married for 10 years or something.
It depends. Yeah,
I don't think they understand, fam. They know it's there, and every girl's been cheated on, you know. But they're still like, I can't believe you would do this. Like, you would do this? I'm like, how? Not me. Like, everybody. It's
of
not
course,
me.
you can be in disbelief at the moment. It's an emotional response, but it doesn't mean in the back of their head they weren't thinking that. It doesn't mean that didn't pop its face in the back of their mind. Just like, okay, I can be with a woman and I can think of divorce, and then when the divorce comes, it's like, am I surprised? Like, I had that idea before getting married. Like, you should have had that idea that this is a potential possibility. Why would you go into a situation with another human and think 100% they're going to do everything correctly? You're going to always think about negative scenarios. Oh, what if they cheat? What am I going to do? What if this happens? What am I going to do? What if this like, you know, you have to. That's how we live life.
Yeah.
We don't live life with no caution tape around whatever decision we make, bro. We understand. If I work this job, I'm going to have to use my hands for this amount of time of my life. If I decide to work this type of job, I'm going to be doing this for the rest. Like, we know the risks we take. So there's no one naive enough to say my guy's gonna be 100% perfect, and there's no guy to say my girl's gonna be 100% perfect. Yeah. We all know circumstantially things can change. If a better guy comes around, maybe she falls in love with a different guy. I don't know. Maybe she goes on vacay.
I feel like most relationships don't start on a pretense of I like bear gal and I'm gonna.
No, it doesn't start with those pretenses. Of course, it cannot start that way, or the person
would. It could definitely start that way.
Not really. Like
that's the only way to do it. Because if you get
the pretense that you're gonna cheat,
no, either you're gonna cheat and she's gonna know about it, or you're gonna cheat and you're gonna lie.
That's not what the reality is when they come into a relationship, because that's not on the forefront of their mind.
That's what I'm saying. If you start that way, it'd be a little better, a little bit easier.
So
if they start, okay.
So I was gonna say. So speaking on that, I wanted to actually show that video about the Filipina and the Filipino woman, or just Filipinas in general, with the older European males that go down there, and exactly what's going on in the dynamics. Because as we were just talking about, when it comes to guys that are older and women that are younger, you can see that there's a certain type of contract in place where for the guys, well, the women are always looking for the resources of a man. That's why they go for older. For the man, he's looking for beauty, he's looking for youth, and hopefully less experience.
If he's looking for a relationship, though, most of the men just want to fuck.
If that's the case, he would have just paid for a prostitute.
And they do.
Yeah, but some do, and the ones that don't pay for that.
Some don't.
You think ones that are looking for love?
Yeah, there's older guys looking for love. Of course. They go to these foreign lands and bring these girls over and marry them.
You marry
Lots
them,
of the time.
You don't see 90 Day Fiance?
Yeah,
what do you think that's about?
Not even that. You never seen these white men with Filipinas here and stuff like that. They go travel and then sometimes they bring them back.
Yeah, and
people look for love in the most craziest
mostly
places.
They're just fucking them though.
Of course, it
75% is just fucking. 25% might be
absolutely. But that 25%, you can't quantify what that number is. It can be a big number.
It could be a big number. But the point of the matter is,
those girls rapid, fam.
But the point of the matter is, there is
you can do both at the same time too. You can do both at the same time
because
too.
They can still
you could be sleeping with women, and then have a one that you pick as your serious woman.
Yeah,
of course.
So we're gonna get into this video and see our thoughts on how that goes.
I want to show people that it's possible for an older man in young Filipina could actually fall in love.
When we first met, I was just a young 56-year-old, and you were an old.
Yeah, I was 18 when I met Gary, but yeah, I did lie about my age.
We met using a dating app. She actually reached out to me first.
I sent you the wink first. I had a chaperone with me in the first meeting we have, and I was scared. That was my reaction because I never dated a foreigner.
So she's never dated a foreigner. Just to tell you something. She's never dated a foreigner. She hit him up, and then he's like, oh, okay. And she lied about her age. So she said she was 18. She was underage.
That's perfect for her.
For her. But why is it perfect for her?
Because by the time that nigga dies, she can still live a good life.
But isn't that because of the resources?
Yeah, for sure.
That's the whole purpose. This is what I'm talking about. There's a
the contract that's in place with the men going after younger women.
She's trying to secure a better life for herself.
The land, the money, the opportunity.
Yeah, but the question here is, isn't that the same fairness in that situation? Isn't that the same thing with you dealing with somebody that's equally yoked as you?
What do you mean?
You're benefiting off one another. What I'm trying to say, he's benefiting off her youth, she's benefiting off his resources, right?
Of course.
So there's a trade-off.
So when, say you're similar in age, say you're 3 years apart or whatever the case may be, would you say that situation is less ideal than somebody that's closer in your age?
Getting a young girl in comparison to a girl
somebody that's your age.
Your age.
So say you're 56 and dealing with a woman that's 53.
It depends where you are in life. If you're trying to move forward, you can't really go pick something up that's going to kind of hold you back and be a liability. You might need something that's your age or even a little bit older to show you the way so you can get to that point where you're sturdy. Like, you can't go, I don't think you can like be like on a like just fucking, you're still poor, like mid range. Like, I don't think you could be making a little bit of income, even a mid range amount of income, and go pick up a young girl and then bring her over, because you have to take care of that girl now. You have to do everything. But if you get a girl older, you're way more likely to go further, faster.
But what do you mean by older? What age do you mean?
Let's say you're 45.
Say you're 45, yeah.
And your girl, would you go for a woman that's 42?
Or would you go for a girl that's 30?
If I'm shaky, if I'm established at 45, then I'm gonna go younger. If I'm not established yet, I'm gonna go a girl that's on my wavelength, business, had experience, made some mistakes, knows where some pitfalls are, can teach me something. I'm not gonna go to a 22-year-old and expect her to teach me anything.
But that's why I told you, for a guy that, like I said, a guy that's working a regular job, it's not really permissible for him to go after the 22-year-old, because there's no benefit in him going after outside, rather other than looks. That's the only thing he can rely on. But now, somebody that's established already, why it's a good deal is because his sole focus could be just the looks on her or her youth, right? To have kids, like a big family. So you want 5 kids, for example. Well, that's not going to be possible with certain women at a certain age, right? Like, if you want a big family, it's not going to be possible. You need to deal with a younger woman that has years to deal with something like that. So
some niggas already have kids, right? And you're like, I don't need any more kids. I just want a girl now to boss.
That's a whole different case.
That's a whole different scenario. But we're talking about clean slate scenarios. We're not talking about scenarios.
Niggas have clean slates, brother. By the time you get to 40, by the time you get to 35, brother, your whole slate is all over the place. All kind of marks on your board. Like, you're not going
but in
clean.
terms of kids and not having kids, that slate alone.
Yeah, but
you can't speak on everything.
You can't speak on that. You have to speak on the people that don't have kids and aren't in these scenarios. Because,
but if you don't have kids by 40, I don't think you want to go pick up kids.
That's what I said. That's what we were talking about. That's what I'm saying.
We're saying at that point, you're just going for the young girl because you're
going for young girls. Why would you care about?
Fuck.
You're not exactly. So you're not thinking to get a 42-year-old to teach you no goddamn thing.
That's what I'm saying. What do you?
Why would you want her to teach you?
That's what I mean.
But you managed to make it. So for example, if you managed to make it 45, this is the most crazy shit I've ever heard. If you managed to make it to 45,
let's say a 45-year-old carpenter.
No, seriously, because why would you want to deal with somebody that's older than 45? For example, for her to teach you what? You never learned anything in those 45 years that you need a woman?
Let's say a 45-year-old carpenter. He goes and he meets some gal and she's an accountant somewhere.
Okay.
She's 51 years old. Mm-hmm. Bad little accountant, you know? And he has some 26-year-old gal he has to come pick up and pay her rent, and, you know? He takes her to Cuba, but, you know, he comes back and he's like, fuck. What am I doing with this young bitch? Now, the old bitch is like, let's go to Germany and let me show you some business over there. Let me show you what I got going on over there. Mm-hmm. In his life, you need the older gal. You can't go get a young gal.
Okay, do you know anybody that had a situation like that? Do you know anybody that you've heard had a situation like that?
Go pick up an old thing? Not an older nigga like that, nah.
So this is just like a make-believe type of scenario.
Like right now, like 30, that type of stuff. You meet a 40-year-old girl and she should big up your flex. Right?
I know what he's trying to say. Now. He's just saying, but
I get what he's saying too. But I'm saying
but where he gets it wrong is that by that point, a lot of the women aren't finding you desirable. They're not trying to teach an old dog new tricks. That's where you have to realize the woman's relying on you to teach them something by that age. No, just by that age, like you're supposed to be a leader.
That's what I'm saying.
You're supposed to be a leader. So I mean, if you're in a scenario like we're talking about, then as the guy, you'd be lucky to find a woman that's older than you, willing to put you on, and her lifestyle is that great.
I don't know what it's like to be 40 and that. I don't get that back about right now. You know what I'm saying? From the time niggas been 20 to about 35. What have we been looking for?
So I guess, gal? It goes by your perspective. This is what I'm trying to say. It goes by, like, especially financially, economically, this will make the difference. Because like I said, if you're already established and you already got your things going on, you wouldn't rely on no woman to help you make your business better, help you make your life better. You're living your life by yourself. You're good. You know what to deal with. You can handle the family. You know what your finances are like. So that's not no longer a prerequisite. But if you're a guy that you're not making that much money, you're still trying to figure out possibilities of how you can progress your life. Sure. Why are you dealing with a young chick? She ain't going to help you get to there. So I understand your point of view in that perspective where, yes, it is a money perspective. Because like I said, if someone doesn't really or wants to make more money and trying to figure that out, yes, they don't supposed to be dealing with women that are a lot younger than them. I would say deal with women that are maybe closer within your age, that have something going on for them so you can kind of collaborate.
But I will say this is what I would say. Why would you have to deal with them? Wouldn't you just pay somebody that has the information that you're looking for? Why would you go as far as romantically involved with someone? Because that never works out to be good.
It's still a person though, right? It's all about who you get along with, regardless of age or whatever. You have to be able to get along with them.
You're doing business though. You're doing business. Business and pleasure don't mix. Like if I'm there to get my business up, I'm going to look for somebody that can help me get my business up. I'm not looking for a romantic connection plus get my business up.
But you may be attracted to a woman because of her business acumen. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That may be something that brings you in saying she has all these ideas. She has all these things.
So I'm paying for it. That's what I do. Yeah, I'm attracted to your business acumen.
But to be fair, in those situations, like just typically speaking, like I know many people's scenarios. Like I mean, I'm anecdotally, like obviously there's going to be different scenarios, but there's not many scenarios where you'll have people from different walks of life getting together, especially if the woman's more successul than the guy. Like, I'll be honest, like women that are successful go for men that are equal or more successful than they are.
So that's why they call it hypergamy.
So the point of the matter is that that's not a likely option. Like if we're as men, we're supposed to be talking about like, okay, we need to get to the point where we have these options to choose, whether it's young or not, and whether people criticize us or not, because we earn the right. That's what we're supposed to be talking about. But if you're talking about like going after, women that are doing good for themselves and maybe can help you put you on, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like you want a woman that's going to help you a little bit in your business. I'm not saying that she should be at a higher level or should be thinking higher than you and you're kind of, being little bro to her big bro. I don't think you should do that. But I do believe that, you have to have a girl that's compatible with you, with what she's got going on, rather than the age and her doing good. Because I'll be honest, chances of you being with a woman doing better than you long term is very unlikely.
Very unlikely.
It's not a likely scenario.
How compatible do you think that old white guy is to that young?
But again, he's looking for
compatibility. What is he looking for?
He's looking for respect. He's looking for somebody that has youth, fertility,
and experience.
But what if he doesn't want to get her pregnant? What if he just likes a companion with that girl?
Still youth, still respect, still physically attractive,
potentially traditional.
Potentially.
What does he know about the traditional ways of?
He could see. He has eyes. He could see what.
He doesn't know anything about her tradition or her culture.
But he could just enjoy like what.
Just a young girl who thinks he's all right and he wants to fuck his shit out of her.
No, but if he goes to family gatherings,
but no one's saying this relationship's gonna be the greatest example.
No one can tell me that you go into a family dynamic and you're looking at what's going on and tell me you don't understand tradition. I just need to see how people are behaving. If it's loving. You don't need to actually be engulfed in a person's culture to know that, this is something I want to be a part of. This looks really nice. She looks very respectful. She honors
I agree.
me.
I'm just saying, what does he understand? He doesn't understand the culture. You said like he's going for the tradition.
Yeah. He can learn. He can learn. He could just go there and observe, and then she's gonna teach him about the culture and stuff. Women do this all the time. They teach you about the culture.
Women are different. He just wants to fuck. For sure.
But I'm saying,
99%.
why don't you just pay for a prostitute?
It's a long game, right? If you pay her to come here, then you could fuck her almost when you want, you feel like, right? That paying makes sense to certain people, opposed to paying upright and never fucking it
You're
again.
right. You're right. There's
Long-term
the indirect.
investment.
Yeah,
It's house pussy.
Yeah, you're right about that for sure. He probably
He got
does.
himself some house pussy, and the man we're trying to quantify, it's house pussy. He doesn't want to have no kids with her. He's not in a state where he wants to pay for this girl's kids and all that.
Yeah.
He's already done. He's supposed to fucking have somebody
You're
make
right,
a breakfast.
you're right.
You're right. But again, if he wants to do that, then that's up to him of what he wants to do in that sense, right? If we're just talking about having sex,
I even just up my number. 85% of these guys are just looking for house pussy. You know what I mean?
I think that's 100% true.
I
Like,
can
don't
believe
get me
that, for
wrong.
sure.
A lot of them are not looking for a long-term serious relationship
Is it
because,
something-
again,
yeah.
a lot of these women are in different countries. Like, these
Yeah.
things are hard to make realistic unless you have the resources to make it realistic for yourself.
I think a
That's
decision
why
you make in your prime can be, understandable. Once you're past your prime or,
Yes.
before your prime, the decisions you're making is just on a whim.
So actually, this is actually very interesting, this conversation, because now that you're saying at the age of 40 for a male, that he's looking at, he's like, man, having kids, having a marriage. This is what I was telling my brother before. I was like, by the time you're 40, you're like, man, I'm not trying to have kids. I think you never had a kid at 40 or like 41, 42. You're kind of like, man, if I never had a family at this point.
The internet
like,
made me feel like I could do it now.
Yeah,
brother.
but you're like, I'm
Well, the
done.
internet feels like anything possible.
No, but you're like,
Yeah.
but you're kind of like, I'm done. Like, I don't want that anymore. Like, I lived long enough to be like,
Well,
I
unless
don't
your
want
funds
that.
are
I
up.
want to
yeah, unless your funds are up. But
if your funds
I'll
are
be
up.
honest, why it becomes
No, but
that.
I was just trying to
Go
finish the
ahead.
point. The point that I'm trying to get to is, why do you think women don't understand by the time they're 40 that like marriage might not be a possibility?
I don't know.
Why do you think they're still like, no, I'm still looking good? Like, when you look at
they
the
have
face
they
value-
have the shows. They just want a companion, brother. They just want a companion. And if you're into like a church at all, which you get more religious as most people get older,
Yeah.
you get more religious.
Yeah.
Now you really believe in the sanctity and of marriage.
But
and
you've
love.
already lived life. So
There's 60-year-olds looking to get married still.
but that's what I'm saying. Like,
was watching the show the
why
other
don't
day.
they just drop the marriage part? Like, why don't they just look for a companion?
Some people do want that. Some people do want that. I don't want to get married, but some older people, they still believe it. Maybe they've been married twice, and maybe they're married for 10 or 15 years at a time, right? And they understand they had good memories of it. It didn't crash and burn. So they still think of marriage in a good way. They still want to get
people
married.
have good scenarios.
Some
yes,
people,
100%.
like, this whole shit crashed and burned. She fucked my best friend and she took my house. I don't ever want that again. It's your experience. Did you watch the show? It's on Netflix. Older Love.
No.
No.
There's like 60, even 70-year-old
Jesus.
looking for love still.
I've seen that. I've seen that show. There's a
Pop-Up
Pop-Up Balloon Senior Edition.
Yeah, there's a nigga. The
Yeah,
man, he
yeah.
goes on all the dates. He's like, oh, this girl's really good. Goes on all the dates.
I don't
son.
get that. Like, I find that so confusing. Like,
Yeah.
I'm thinking at that age, you're just kind of trying to live life. You go out.
That guy's just a fuck.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, like, I'm thinking you're traveling,
Yeah.
you're going out there, you're meeting different girls from different cultures and whatnot. I'm not thinking you're still looking for marriage. Like, oh yeah, even though I get it, like, yeah, they want to start sleeping with girls, but
It's just
like,
marriage with no kids, right?
Marriage with no family.
Yeah.
So
But
they're just trying to fuck
Well, you just
and have a companion. You just want somebody there. if
you
get
want
sick.
you want a friends with
That's what it
benefits. You want a friends with benefits. Somebody that you can
Yeah.
call your companion that you can have.
You don't want to
sex
really
with.
move her in, but you just want to be connected. You go on a date, you go do new things. You have somebody to lay with at night. When it gets cold at night, everybody wants somebody to lay with.
But
That's
I
what it
do
comes
think
down
like
to.
marriage is the security blanket that people believe. Like
Yeah,
people
it's
believe
security
it's
for
the
women.
security blanket mainly for women, of course.
So
because-
every woman in that sense would want to get married forever.
Yes, like women would want to get
a
married just
cold-
because it's the security blanket.
Yes.
And you have to remember, men pour in resources into women. So if a woman doesn't have that security blanket, they know to themselves, they're like, well, I'm a commodity out here. Someone has to take me serious at one point or another. Because I'll be honest, women are being taken serious at 60, 70,
yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
and 80.
Nobody-
Unbelievably. But they're getting taken serious by somebody. It doesn't matter who that person is. The person's handicapped and slow in the head. It doesn't make no difference. Point is, they're choosing up, even if these women are way beyond their prime.
Yeah, you gotta watch the show, fam. 61 years old, this black lady. She's even fit, fam. She hikes, does all this stuff fit.
Wow.
Niggas be like 53. I think the guy was like 55 or 56. He's like, I can't do it because she's older. She's fit. She does more than him. He's like, he fell. He used to do airborne, the parachuting, whatever in the States. he did that and he broke his back one time and his legs, so he can't really do hiking. He still lifts weights and stuff, but cardio and certain stuff's hard for him. She's like, yo, I hike every morning. I wake up, I go running. 61. She's like, every day I do this. She's like, you're not as active as I would like. And then he's like, she's a little bit older, but she's way more active than him. Doing way more stuff. Outfits, fit, fam.
But she did work on herself.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
She did work on herself? Like she got her body done?
I thought she did work on it. Oh, no. So
you just
natural black lady, fam.
Just took care of herself.
Took care of herself. 61, she looks good. And she's more active than a 56-year-old Army retired veteran.
But say this situation. Say you're dealing with a woman and say in your example, you said you don't want to get married?
Negative.
Okay, so you don't want to get married. So if that's the case, like say you didn't want you want kids?
Yes.
Okay, so say you have
how many kids are you looking at?
Many as I could have that are healthy. What
does that mean? Like,
you have to have realistic number.
3 depends on the circumstance, right?
But hold on for this question. Like say for example, because obviously we're saying people are dating at whatever age. Some people are getting married young. Some people are getting married old. We don't know which age group is getting married at what rate. I picture people get married more when they're older rather than when they're younger. In this day and age, I think people are getting married a lot more older than when they're young. Like in their young 20s, I think people are getting married in their 40s more than even their 20s at this stage, because just how the mentality is with like the younger generation, right? But here's the thing.
I got it.
Don't kill me.
I can't even answer the question. He's like, oh, wow. This guy's killing me, man.
But yeah, as I was saying, in a situation like that, like I was just talking to him about, just dealing with a woman, and he's saying that, people still will date at 50, 60. He's talking about the show and how people are still looking to date. But what would be the point to marry somebody or even be in a relationship at that point? Wouldn't you just be, like I said, friends with benefits at that point? Like, what's marriage with no family and no legacy?
But this is where I
get
get confused, because I'm always saying the whole purpose, for me at least, I can only speak for myself. I always thought the whole purpose of marriage is to build a family, right? That's what keeps the marriage going, because, if you having a companion, that's cool. But I think there's a lot of men that can do without a companion, right? I think women would love that security a lot more than men, just because men know that they have to go out there and hunt for their own food. They got to figure out.
And that's to provide for the women they choose.
Yeah,
like,
so they
that's
have to provide for the women that they choose.
Yes,
and
they're going to have to hold themselves to a certain
so they
degree.
have to hold down the fort for the women that they choose, and they have to hold down the fort for their children.
Absolutely.
So he has to be the leader of that whole household.
Typically
right?
of the household, yes.
So for a guy, he's not really tripping out if he doesn't have a companion. It just means I just have to take care of myself.
Yeah, less responsibilities.
So I just have more resources to myself. I'm not really disadvantaging myself, right?
Yeah.
But now now in my head, I'm looking at, so where's the logic in me getting into a marriage without any children? Why would I want to take on the responsibility of taking care of a wife that is not able to produce children for me?
Well, that's what I'm trying to say, because, this is why marriage is going to be a practice, in my opinion, like moving forward, for people that are successful, people that are wealthy. It's not going to be for poor people, because at the end of the day, like, it's just like you said, like, I mean, if a woman's not going to produce kids and stuff like that for you, what's the point of it? So people that are going to get married are going to have a better mentality, like, are probably doing better in life for it to make sense. Because what's the point of getting married if there's nothing to be produced legacy-wise, in my opinion?
Yes.
Like, the point of getting married is to produce a legacy. It's not to be in a long-standing relationship just to say, oh, I love you, you love me, we're friends, we get to go experience things together. I think people mistake that.
Yeah.
I think people mistake that. That's not what marriage is intended to be. And marriage is intended to combine families and create a legacy, create heirs, create people that can push your name forward in the next generation.
But even,
and you don't have that,
what
family do you have? Your family dies with you.
You know what the funny thing is? If you look back in the day, you'll see in order to consummate marriage, you would have to, the woman would have to bear a child for the guy.
To count the marriage
For
as a
it to
real,
count as a real marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the practice was.
Okay.
So I don't know when they came up with this whole idea where we're just going to get married for companionship and that strictly alone. No kids, no nothing. We're just going to look at each other, call ourselves best friends, and, fornicate here and there. Because even eventually, that's going to get tiring.
It's just the highest level of the relationship.
Yeah, but in the sense of, like, say, for example, marriage. Say, for example, you can get a prenup in any situation, but it wasn't called a prenup. But say that was just the standard. Like, you keep what you got, they keep what they got coming in. Say that's the standard for marriage. Would you think a lot of people would get married if that was the standard?
No, because women are pushing the marriage.
Yep.
So if it's not beneficial for women, then why would it make sense? Men don't want to get married. Women want to get married.
They're the ones that are pushing it, for sure.
Well, there you have it. No, there you have it. Women are the ones pushing for it. So if there's no benefit for them, there'd be no benefit for a marriage because men would be like, well, men wouldn't care to get married at that point, though, because
men
they
already don't care to get married. They're
but they don't want to get married a lot of the time because of the legal ramifications. Don't get that confused. They would get married if they knew they can prenup. Like if it was a standard, especially rich men, if it was a standard that you keep what you got going, and come on, man,
there'd be a lot of
marriage. There'd be no marriage.
No, there would be
marriage. There'd be a lot of marriage
like
because
you said earlier,
you don't keep anything. The woman has to bank. The woman has to bank that you're there for real.
Yeah,
and
but you're not going to get married to her because she's not going to push it on you.
No, because
it's more serious. It's a more serious scenario.
A guy would just want a girl just to be at the house, just so he could fornicate with her the whole time. Yeah, exactly. So once that is established, he'll get married in a heartbeat. It's like, oh, she's not taking any of my money, nothing like that.
Yeah, I'll take care of her. I don't have no problems.
No problem. No qualms, no nothing.
No nothing.
And until I have a girl to come back to and sleep with on demand, of course.
And then if the girl doesn't like it, she gets divorced. He's like, okay, I'll go on and move on.
And then, moves on to the next girl.
A guy would be way more interested if there's no legal financial incentives.
You know how much marriages he would just secure?
He would be more interested, but he still wouldn't. It would be like a maybe 40-60. He still don't care about getting married. Unless your gal keeps pushing it on you. But if there's no security in that marriage for her, then she's not going to push it, which means he's never going to get married.
Yes, that may be the case if that's the situation.
Why would anybody get married? Probably
for the pressure from your
family,
name,
right?
Societal standard, last name. There's benefits to getting married.
What do you mean?
There's legal benefits to getting married.
Like a regular guy, last name?
There's just legal benefits to getting married. To being married compared to being single, there's more benefits to being married than being single.
For sure.
So there's still like certain type of incentives that come with being married compared to being single.
I don't think it'll come up, dog.
And either way, it's not so much.
I think a guy would be with a girl for 15 years, and if she didn't want to get married, he wouldn't want to get married.
It goes by the societal standards. It depends what you're doing and who you're around. If you're around people that are all married, trust me, you're going to look bad.
Why would guys get married?
Because their environment and who they're around. Again, if you're around people that are married, all of a sudden that idea might resonate with you because you're going to feel like you're ostracized in the group, right? Yeah. If everyone's married, it's like, who's that? Oh, yeah, this is my girlfriend. You're going to feel the way. It's like, huh? Your girlfriend? For how much years? 5 years, girlfriend.
Well, they'll pressure you into it anyways.
Like,
whether it's
people are gonna ask you,
indirectly or directly.
Yeah, they'll pressure you. So
societal pressure.
Yeah, that's societal family pressure. Sure. So as long as you have the old traditions, that's always gonna be a pressure on you, whether you want to do it or not, right? Even if you're prepared or not. Fuck, people don't even care if you have the resources or not to marry somebody. They rather you marry. Mm-hmm. Even if you have zero resources, like, but this is gonna crash and burn. It's like, yeah, but you still got to get together with somebody. Like people preach it to the death. Mm-hmm. You still got to marry that person. You still got to be together with that person. But I think at this day and age, people are gonna make their choices. I think a lot of situations, whether it's a long-term marriage, this and that, I think they're just all modified these days. You kind of go according to what your own experience is. So like, no one's really gonna criticize you hard. If you don't get married, no one's going to criticize you. If you do get married, no one's going to criticize you. If you're dating younger, well, people are going to have their criticism. But what I'm saying is all things are going to be criticized. All things are going to be put on a...
Here's my question. Would you rather get married from 20 to 40 or 40 to 60?
20 to 40.
What would I rather get married
If you have to get married.
20 to 40.
What about you?
I'd get married if I had to get married.
Oh, no,
my
actually,
later
40 to
years.
60.
My later years,
I
for
would say
sure.
40 to 60. What am I saying?
100%.
My
I was
lady,
like,
yo.
oh, what are you
I was tripping
thinking?
out. I was tripping out for a second.
How about
there.
the
But he's just
cookie?
talking. What
just
age is
talking.
he already?
I'm ready. Yeah, I'm
What
ready.
age is he?
I'm
He's
ready.
already at that
35
point.
point.
Yeah,
So,
but I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it's
I was,
capping.
yeah, I was capping.
You
I
would've-
was
Yeah,
capping.
I was
wouldn't
like,
wanna
I was
be-
like, all right, let me
No,
flip
I'd
over
rather
that.
It's
get to
capping
that
because I would have already done it if that was the case.
Way better to do it later than
40 to
before.
60
But again,
is more ideal.
why would it be better like to do it later?
Because you can still run through all your life and then go get married at 40 and just be with somebody later, opposed to while you're still prime and you get to live your life, opposed to after your prime, then you get to live your life.
Okay.
Right?
So you're saying you rather than a woman close to your age at 40, you would prefer her than the younger girls. That's what you said.
You just proved your own point.
You proved your own point.
Then I what?
You said in your 40s, you said I'd rather get married in my 40s because I would have already experienced a lot of life. I would have lived and did what I needed to
slut
do.
it up.
But now that I'm saying, now that you're in your 40s, you would then, now what you're saying is you would date a woman that's closer within your age, like in your age
At
bracket.
40,
yeah, rather than a younger girl. That same 40-year-old that's the same age as you has the same experiences you have. You just said you ran through and did whatever. So did they. So you would prefer that woman at the end of it all than to go for a younger woman at the end of it all.
If I'm not having kids, just a nice something older lady. For me,
That's
personally.
cap, bro.
For me, dog.
It's not for
That's for
you.
me.
It's
For the
cap.
man, it's different.
It's
For the
not
man,
for
it's
you.
different. At 40,
Anyone can say this. That's like saying a girl, like a woman comes on
40,
this
I don't wanna-
podcast.
I don't wanna
a woman
fuck
can come
like
on
that.
This, no, but a woman can come on this podcast and be like, "Yeah, no, I'm good. Like with being single and a dog. Like, of course you're gonna say that. Like,
Of course.
But that's not the reality. Like, let's keep
Maybe
it
for
real.
most men.
Even-
For me, dog.
Don't say
I'm
for
saying-
you,
yes,
dog.
I'm saying for me.
Nah, it ain't for
I'm
you.
saying for me, fam. I don't want the
That
pressure
won't
of
even get
fucking
you
a
excited
25.
at that point. That's what I'm
Well,
trying to
let's
say.
not say the gal don't look good still.
No, it doesn't matter if they look good. You're
And I'm not trying
you're
to have
trading
kids.
off a. And even if they look good, bruh,
Okay.
what regular 40-something-year-olds looking really great? Like, let's be honest. What, you're getting the best 40-year-old there is out there? Like,
I'm looking for a
come
good
on.
45.
Okay,
I'm
well,
looking for a
I'm
good
gonna
gal around
use-
my
Yeah,
age.
well,
I'm
the
gonna-
chances,
Maybe a couple
are, the
years,
chances
you know?
are way less. I'll tell you straight up, bro.
100%.
Especially
Okay, I'll
in
tell you
looks.
this,
Especially in
I'll-
looks.
But I'm not looking for fucking at 40 if I have to get
Okay.
married, right? That's my mindset.
So you're not looking at looks, you're saying?
Looks are different than fucking.
You would need the looks in order to sleep
Even if
with
your
the
gal
girl.
looks good, you don't want to fuck her all the time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? A young girl, you want gonna fuck her maybe more. But I don't want to be doing that. A young girl's sex drive too high. At 40, I've done fuck
But
all
they
my
say
girls. I
the
don't want
sex
to fuck no
drive
more.
gets higher as the older you are, not the younger. Sex drive in a
For women.
20-year-old is less than the sex drive in a 40-year-old. Everyone
Yes,
knows that.
Yeah.
What, girl or man?
For
Women, everyone knows that.
Women,
Everybody
by the
knows
time
that
they hit 40,
statistically.
their sex drive
Statistically,
goes up.
yeah, the
I
sex
hope
drive
not,
goes
brother.
up.
That's what happens. That's what happens.
That's crazy. I hope not, bruv.
Anecdotally, maybe that wasn't the
I'm
case.
fucked out. You know what I mean? By that time there, I'm
So
fucked
you
out.
think you're
So
not
you
there
think?
yet. You're not
so
there
you think?
yet.
Guys like Hugh Hefner were 80, dog, laying
They're
down
still
pipe.
doing, yeah.
You know that.
I understand.
Even the
brother.
guys that they're dating, the dating show you're talking about.
Even
they're
the
not-
50,
not-
60-year-old going after 22.
Sure, I want to fuck a new gal here and there. Seen? But I don't want to be going on fucking marathons with no young
But look
gal.
at these
No
guys
one's saying that.
in Thailand,
No one's saying that.
Philippines.
Yeah, you think they're-
what are
they're-
they doing?
go
look at
gadget.
that age.
That personally
They
is
go
too much for me,
gadget.
brother.
But
Taking
I'm
those pills
saying
and
that
fucking the shit out of those
I
young
would-
girls.
But what I'm saying
But
is,
no one's
at
saying
that
they're doing
age-
that. No
at
one's saying
that
they're
age,
doing
they're
that.
still out there, out and about. They're still trying to capture young girls.
I think those are the guys who maybe got married at 20 to 40, right? And then their whole life been dead, and now they're
True.
looking for something they haven't had in so long. But if you done fucked and had your fun and done your shit, and now I could go look at a mountain, fam. Now I could go relax. Like, I don't need to be fucking all the time. I want somebody who
So you're
understands
just saying your,
experiences.
your priorities are going to change when you get older. So these guys that go after young girls, what do you think happened with them?
I told you they're dead for 20 years.
No, but a lot of people that go for younger women are guys that are successful. Guys that have money. They go after young girls. This is a clear thing.
If you're looking for looks, right? If you're looking for looks and status, yes, you're gonna go for a younger girl when you have money. If you don't already have something established.
So what's the difference? The money or the mentality? Because you're trying to explain to me that the mentality is going to be different if you don't have that money. But if you have that money
the money,
and those options are open to you,
the money.
it's just like a woman. If she looks good, right? Like say she's 45 and she looks good and her options are young guys compared to older guys, and she's looking to just have fun or she wants to go off just attraction, she has the option to go for younger guys because she looks good for her age. Just like if a guy, so things change according to your options. So if you have money like that, and that's what you command,
I'll be popping pills and fucking gal on my helicopter for sure.
But you're not looking for the girl your age. That's what I'm trying to say. You wouldn't be getting, like, if you're 40 and you're a millionaire, you're not looking for another millionaire 40-year-old to date you.
25, 23.
But you just said you don't want to knock them down the same. The same when you applies.
If I have money and I'm fucking get them on
applies.
No, it's different, gang.
You
said due to your age, you're not interested in certain shit.
Listen, nigga, if I blow up and I have 50 mil, am I gonna
What change?
And I don't have a gal, right? And I didn't have a gal for maybe 10 years already, and I built stuff for there. Am I gonna want to go fuck a 22-year-old gal on my helicopter or a really, really good-looking 45-year-old gal? 23. Okay.
You're going to anything, but you're contradicting yourself.
So you're telling me because
most niggas aren't rich, fam. Most niggas are living a regular life.
So you're telling me
you don't have options that long.
No, but you think
and
you think a guy that's 40 years old, just because he doesn't have money, he doesn't have those aspirations?
He still has the aspiration, but he might not be able to get it.
He's just gonna try and go to a different country so he can get it where his money can
What
stretch.
I'm saying is you're suppressing what your mentality is.
Depends how greased you are, I think. Like at that age.
You just said if you're rich, you're able to.
Money makes you greased.
No, the point we have
money
to get
gives you
here,
access. More access is simple, fam.
More access means more accessibility. So you're gonna go after what you can get. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's your initial
thought process
scale,
is based on your options. I'm just saying most of your what you decide to do is based on the options you have. So like a woman, if she decides to get with maybe a guy that's like younger than her, even if she knows it might not work out and stuff like that, but if she has the options to go down there, she can go down there, deal with a young stud and get what she wants out of him if that's what she wants. If she's able to do that, she looks good enough to command that. That's why they have cougars and stuff like that, where guys will go after those girls. Yeah. Even though there's 20-year-olds and stuff like that, they still go after the 40-year-old because she still looks good. Yeah. Even you're in your 20s, you go after her, right? So they have options, just like a rich guy has options to go young and older. But everything is determined by your options, because I think your mentality changes depending on what options you have.
Yes.
If you have options to date young chicks, you're going to exercise those options. This is what even like Kevin Samuel's been saying. If you have options, you're going to exercise them. Yeah. So it's not to say what you want or what you don't want. It's just the fact that if you could get it, you're going to get it. Yes. If you can't get it, then you won't even think about it like that. You'll be like, well, most people, I'm going to be a regular guy.
Most people can't get that.
Exactly. So I understand your point of view, because you'll be like,
from a regular guy
I'm not getting a 22-year-old when I'm 40.
Yeah. You're making 150 or 40 something. You're like, okay, like I'm just still trying to get ahead, brother. I'm like, am I horny enough? Do I need to go, I'm going to go look for a young gal, or do I need a gal who's going to hold me down and support me and take care of the stuff I need to so I could try and get further? Like,
so you're going to keep yourself, so that's basic mentality.
You want an older gal, fam.
All right, so
how much percent of guys are rich? 1%? 1% of guys?
Yeah, it's a small percentage.
1% of guys have options forever, for sure. The other 99%, you have to deal in reality. Like,
I would say a young girl gonna put me backwards? 1%. I'll say about 10%, like in terms of commanding power, in terms of like what.
Of course, worldwide, like
worldwide, 10%. But I mean, we're coming to the end of the podcast. So in terms of like, how would you want to conclude it?
Well, the one thing I'll say, the biggest equalizer, we'll just get this quick, is that even though you said like, there's 1% of rich or 10% of the rich people that can afford these things. But the key thing about this whole conversation was the traveling aspect of it. The guy that we see in the video, it was a travel situation. The girl's from the Philippines, he's from America. Different economics. So a lot of the times you could be that top 10% in majority of the places of the world you go to. You're definitely top 20. So technically you could still get what you desire in a different country. That's what I have to say on the situation. And I'll just say, like, when it comes to like marriage and these things, I think why the younger generation, millennials, or even whatever generations that are coming up next, I think why we're all confused is that we don't know necessarily what we want out of a long-term relationship. If we want kids, if we want a companion, if we want friendship, like, I think that's what's confused. People don't really know what they want. So I think with that being said, a lot of people will get married, but most likely it won't last the time. I think people are gonna have multiple partners, probably have kid by this guy, kid by that woman. Like it's gonna be that type of situation where it's gonna be a little bit dysfunctional, but who's to say it's gonna be the worst than ever? I mean, look at things when people are married, there's lots of divorce. And there's still a lot of unstable families. So who's to say that where we're at now is better or worse? That's what I have to say about it.
That's it's pretty good, yeah. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't know, man. Jump on the plane before it's too late, man.
Jump on
the plane before it's too late.
He's
bro,
right about
you know?
that, especially if you have the funds, if you're working your 9 to 5, save some of those funds and go see the world. That's all I could say about that.
Yeah, and don't kiss these hoes in the mouth.
That's it.
And this is Far From Normal Podcast, and we are out.
Deuces.